Hi everyone, welcome to TNT, Thursday the 13th of July. What a day it was yesterday. Now, it's really happened so fast it was hard to sort of piece it all together. I will go through that in detail a bit later on in the program, but suffice to say that impeccable timing from the Election Commission, who had before the election and then after the election, which was now 2 months ago, to forward this case of Pita's alleged media shares to the Constitutional Court. But it happened yesterday, and they also recommended that he be suspended as an MP whilst that case is considered. Now, the Constitutional Court have said, no, we only meet once a week and we won't be meeting till next Wednesday, so we won't be doing it before today. And of course, today from 9:30am, there will be a joint sitting of Parliament, and then tonight at around about 5pm, a vote for Thailand's next Prime Minister. Will Pita Limjareonrat be one of those people considered as Prime Minister? It's going to be a very long day. And we will get to some of those political machinations a bit later on in the program, but let's go to the case that everybody's been talking about, and certainly a lot of comments in our comments section here at TNT. And this update, again, from the Pattaya News, who have had a very good coverage of this case throughout the last 3 or 4 days. And update: 2 German suspects in murder of Hans Peter Mack arrested, 1 Pakistani suspect still at large, and we'll catch up with his story in just a moment. But we'll start with the arrest of Olaf Brinkmann, and this happened on Tuesday night, with Thai police descending on a clubhouse of a bikie gang in Bang Na, Bangkok. Regarding the arrest of Brinkmann, the police were able to track him down and apprehend him last night at a motorcycle clubhouse in the On Nut area of Bangkok. He was then transferred to the Nong Pru police station for questioning. After arriving in Nong Pru and while being flanked by police, by the way, this footage from the PattayaNews.com's YouTube channel, Brinkmann stepped out of the police vehicle and had his head covered with a hood to conceal his face. And the details of the interrogation are still limited, but Brinkmann is reportedly not giving any information other than denying all charges and referring any further discussion to a lawyer. And meanwhile, Thailand's top cop, the Deputy National Police Chief Surachat Hakpan, held a press conference late last night in Pattaya to announce the results of the operation into the murder of Hans Peter Mack. And Surachat said the group of murderers might also be connected to a motorcycle gang with a history of international criminal activities. He confirmed the authorities have solid evidence to prosecute every culprit. He stated an investigation into connections with transnational crime and the motorbike gang was ongoing. And Police General Surachat was personally thanked by the family of the victim and the German embassy for its quick and efficient work on the case. I think we all have to agree that they have been very efficient and diligent indeed, and quite swift in finding the alleged culprits in this particular case. But let's go to the third person who they were tracking down, and again referring to the PattayaNews.com, Pakistani Thai suspect in murder of Hans Peter Mack arrested in Kanchanaburi. Kanchanaburi, right on the very, very west of Thailand on the Burmese border. And a team from the Region 2 police arrested the last suspect, Saruk Karim Uddin, who's 27, a Pakistani national with Thai citizenship. He was arrested whilst he was getting off a taxi in Kanchanaburi city before reportedly planning on heading to Myanmar. Now, he was being taken back to the Nong Pru police station, a journey of about 5 hours. And that article finishes by saying, on Wednesday, the Nong Pru police attempted once again to question Olaf. This was the man who was arrested on Tuesday night. He continues to deny all charges and says he's not ready to say anything unless he has a lawyer of his choice present. Meanwhile, Thai police did revoke Olaf's visa to stay in Thailand, which he was not pleased about. Olaf briefly met with reporters. This is when he arrived on Tuesday night. They asked him about the incident, and Olaf covered his face with his hands and said nothing but bullshit to them. None of the three prime suspects have asked for bail as of press time, and it's unlikely that any would be granted if requested, except perhaps for Petra, who voluntarily surrendered and has been described as cooperative by law enforcement. And she, I imagine, may end up spilling the beans on the others. Mr. Olaf, in the meantime, after spending a few hours by himself in a Thai police cell, may have his voice lubricated and feel more inclined to start talking to police. But that's the latest in that case of the murder of the 62-year-old German. And before we start unravelling some of the political machinations from yesterday, big thanks to 5 Star Marine, our long-term sponsor. Suffice to say, if you want a VIP charter tour out to the islands off Phuket, I think there's about 30 islands and all these beautiful beaches, then I can highly recommend 5 Star Marine. There's a link in the description below which gives TNT viewers a special deal. But let's have a look at, if you type in Thai news, this is sort of what you found yesterday. And right up the top it says news about Pita Limjareonrat, Al Jazeera saying Thai electoral body seeks Pita Limjareonrat's disqualification. And The Guardian saying democracy on the line in Thailand as parliament to vote on new PM. And CNBC saying Thailand's parliament is about to pick a new prime minister, and a generation hopes headlines too long. But the eyes of the world on Thailand's democracy today as the joint sitting of Parliament tries to wade through all the things that have happened over the past 2 months and elect a new Prime Minister. Now, just to try and frame as briefly as I can without referring to the media, which was all quite long and tortured yesterday, and as I mentioned, the BangkokPost.com was out of action for the whole day, and it's not much better this morning, but not a good day for Thailand's leading English language publisher to be out of action. But what happened 2 months after the election is the Election Commission decided to forward the case of Pita's media shareholdings to the Constitutional Court the day before the joint sitting of Parliament, which is today. And at the same time, they recommended that he be suspended whilst the Constitutional Court decides. Now, the Constitutional Court reacted some 3 hours later at around about 1:30 p.m. yesterday and said, look, thank you very much, but we only meet once a week and we're not going to be meeting until next Wednesday. So that's the situation. He was going to be suspended and then, well, he's not suspended and he'll probably be turning up this morning as the debates start over Thailand's new Prime Minister. But let's see some of the other ways that it was covered yesterday. And this from Prawit Rojanapruk. He's a very well-respected journalist, works for Calside English, and he posted this. The Election Commission has shut down the comments function on its Facebook after being bombarded with criticism today for asking the Constitutional Court to suspend Pita as an MP, and the court to rule whether Pita should be disqualified due to ITV shareholding. You can still post an angry face, he said. Pravit's politics are well known. He doesn't shy from that. That posted on his Twitter page yesterday. Also, this a retweet from Calside English on Twitter, and this is a result of all those actions yesterday. Pita's supporters came out in force. Most Move Forward Party supporters gathered at the Pattaya Skywalk, and I'll just sort of wade through the grammar here. Wednesday evening, saying they want the junta-appointed senators to vote for Pita, I think it's trying to say, tomorrow by following the will of the majority of the voters. And that a retweet from Calside English on Pravit's page. Let's check some of this morning's coverage. We go to nationthailand.com. Charter Court accepts petition challenging Pita's stance on lèse majesté law. So this is another petition in addition to the one that was filed yesterday by the Election Commission. Just a quick note saying that congratulations to Nation Thailand for doing some very good, well, probably AI-generated artwork, but they're certainly going above and beyond with their photos for their stories. But to the actual story, the Constitutional Court has accepted a petition against PM hopeful Pita Limjareonrat, and Move Forward Party over the election campaign to amend Article 112 of the Criminal Code, the Les Majestés Law. A press release by the Office of the Constitutional Court said that a lawyer has filed a petition against Pita and his party, raising questions if the campaign could be considered an attempt to overthrow the democratic system of government with the king as head of state. So during the campaign, yes, it was one of the central parts of their campaign to amend Article 112 of the Criminal Code. That is the article referring to defamation of the royal family. And in their terms, they're saying that that was an attempt to overthrow the democratic system of government with the king as head of state. Now, others may argue that an attempt to amend that law may be trying to further democratise Thailand's democratic laws. And the story from Nation Thailand goes on, the court has accepted the petition, and it added that Pita and Move Forward must submit to the Constitutional Court their response to the allegations within 15 days of receiving a copy of the petition. So another petition which was forwarded yesterday to the Constitutional Court in a day of just impeccable timing. And also from nationthailand.com, the EC failed to follow its own rules in Pita investigation. This story referring to the earlier submission by the Election Commission about Pita's media shares. Hope you're keeping up with us here. The Move Forward Party yesterday threatened to file a criminal complaint against the Election Commission for seeking a ruling from the Constitutional Court against its leader. Move Forward accused the Commission of violating Article 157 of the Criminal Code by announcing that it had decided to ask the Constitutional Court to rule whether Pita should be disqualified for holding the media shares when he applied to run in the May 14 election. And they say the Election Commission did not give Pita a chance to defend himself to its investigative panel before asking the court to rule on the case. But the Election Commission chairman said the Election Commission has the power to seek a ruling from the Constitutional Court. Well, all these court cases are not going to be sorted out by today, and it's going to take weeks to wade all this through the courts. Thai PBS World reporting that hasty Election Commission decision to seek Charter Court ruling on Pita's case slammed. The Move Forward Party Secretary-General has accused the Election Commission of acting suspiciously with its hasty decision to ask the Constitutional Court to consider party leader Pita's ITV shareholding case without giving Pita a chance to defend the case. Further on in the article, he then warned the Election Commission and other charter-mandated independent organisations not to abuse their authority. Now, we should be clear here that over the last 9 years, under the rule of former Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha, the Thai judiciary has been weaponised. And this includes the Election Commission and the Constitutional Court, which in just about every single case that's been brought to them, it's come down on the side of the conservative side, the elites, the Thai elites, the Bangkok elite, in just about every case. So it's not that we're sort of thinking this is a conspiracy. It can be demonstrated if you look at the performance of the Election Commission and the Constitutional Court during the time of Prayut Chan-o-cha's government. And adding to the woes of Pita and the election of a Prime Minister today, the next paragraph says, meanwhile, it's reported that Democrat MPs agreed unanimously, that's yesterday, to abstain from voting today. And the party explained, saying their MP's decision to abstain is in line with the party's clear stance of not supporting the candidate of a party that advocates amending the Les Majestés law. So this just sort of adds to the confusion. How many MPs will abstain? How many senators will abstain from a vote? So that's the situation as we head into today's debate and a vote which is meant to happen at 5 p.m. tonight. Meanwhile, the Nation Thailand reports that Pita is still an MP, eligible to contest for PM, and that's according to Senate whips. So, according to this article, it looks like Pita Limjareonrat will front up to Parliament, to the joint sitting, and stand up as a possible prime ministerial candidate. The story says Move Forward Party leader Pita Limjareonrat is still a member of Parliament and can still contest for the Prime Minister's post today. This according to Senate whips deciding during a closed-door meeting yesterday. A spokesman for the Senate whip said Pita remained an MP until ruled otherwise by the Charter Courts, and the petition asking the court to disqualify Pita as an MP was only an opinion of the Election Commission, he said. And apart from the 2-hour debate by senators, MPs will be given 4 hours to speak before the voting on the next Prime Minister at 5 p.m. today. So that's sort of where the dust has settled as we move into today's debates and vote on a new Prime Minister. It'll be a very busy day, and I imagine there's going to be plenty of protesters on that block of land that's been set up. I think the Bangkok governor said that it could hold 600 people. I think they're going to need a bigger block of land, referring to Jaws there. Thai PBS World, in the meantime, is reporting that Thaksin postpones his return to Thailand. So not wanting to be left out of the limelight, Thaksin wants to make sure that people know he's still around. And the story says that fugitive former PM Thaksin Shinawatra has again delayed his return to Thailand, this time saying he will wait to see how the election of the Prime Minister turns out. Thaksin said last month that he would end his 17 years of self-exile this month because he wants to care for his grandchildren and is ready to serve the 10-year prison term from which he fled. And his youngest daughter, Patongtan, said yes, she's spoken to her father and he's changed his mind. His return is still on for sure, but it will be delayed a little bit, not this month. And the delay is apparently because Thaksin does not want his return to be linked with the current political situation. Many, however, already regard his return as politically connected. And Thaksin has announced 19 times throughout his years of exile that he wants to return home. So again, impeccable timing by Thaksin Shinawatra, saying that he's not going to be coming back to Thailand at the moment. And moving on to another story now, and ThaiPBSWorld.com again, Thailand sets goal to attract 68.5 million foreign tourists in 2028. So in just 5 years, they want the number of tourists to reach 68.5 million. I think they're just plucking that number randomly out of the air. Remembering back in 2019, the last year of full tourism in Thailand, the number reached of foreign tourist arrivals nearly 40 million. And the tourism of Thailand has set an ambitious goal of welcoming 68.5 million foreign tourists in 2028, which will generate an estimated total revenue of 5.6 trillion baht, equivalent to 25% of Thailand's GDP. And further down there, following the reopening of the country in 2022 and the post-pandemic recovery this year, 2025 will mark the beginning of the resilience phase, where the tourism industry rebounds and grows continuously. The TAT hopes to maintain sustainable growth in tourism income through 2028. The TAT's Governor Yutesak Supasorn says the recovery of the tourism sector will not be happening in Thailand alone. Other countries are also rolling out their marketing plans. Therefore, competition will become more intense. He says that Thailand must prioritise tourism marketing plans and hopes that revenue from tourism will reach the level of 2020 soon. Well, I think he means 2019 because, of course, in 2020, at the start of April, Thailand pretty much closed down its airports after the COVID pandemic kicked off, and so there weren't many tourists for the rest of 2020. Anyway, that's where we sit today here on TNT. I cannot predict what's going to happen in the Thai Parliament today. There will be a vote at around about 5 p.m. for a new Prime Minister. Whether they even get around to that, we just don't know. If anything radical happens during the day, I will sort of post some breaking stories. Otherwise, we'll try and unravel what happened today, tomorrow morning. And my bet is we probably won't have a new Thai Prime Minister when we do our Friday TNT. In the meantime, have a fantastic Thursday. Thank you for joining. Please subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow.